Today's video, we're talking Titans. I know. We've been talking about cosmological forces for a while now in most of the videos, and the cosmological forces are really front and center, and there's a reason for it. In the War Within...
We're almost like the brokers, kind of like studying the Eternals and stuff like that. In this realm, the Titans are constantly in our face, so of course we seek to understand them. Much of what we have seen is touched by the Titans. Everything almost that we have seen has been touched. And I'm talking borderline diddly right here, right now, which is not a good thing. We're talking touched. So not good. Not a good situation. So yeah, we have to talk about them. They're scary.
Night and the Lost Titan, it's very clear, right, that the cosmological forces are coming back in full force. Now, I know what a lot of you are going to say, Accolonn, I've had enough of this. I can't do any more cosmological forces. We've had enough, right? Shadowlands was good enough for us. And I would say to that, just very quickly...
No.
Shadowlands didn't...
I'm sorry, I'm gonna let him talk. I know I pause so much on videos, but the way he cuts this right here is hilarious.
This was good enough for us. And I would say to that, just very quickly, Shadowlands didn't fail because it dealt with the realm of death. Shadowlands didn't fail because we saw the realms of death in its glory.
Agreed.
If that was the case, if that was the reason for Shadowlands' failure, then surely Legion should have failed as well, because a lot of that dealt with Sargeras and Sargeras' storyline. But it did.
Sargeras is fucking awesome, though, let's be honest. I mean, I think people are starting to realize that it's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of a cool story. I mean, there's more than just him, but, you know, it's pretty sick.
It would also then stand to reason that the very earliest expansion, vanilla, in World of Warcraft, like before expansions even was a thing, should have failed as well, because it, in many ways, dealt with Cthulhu, which is one of the Void Lord's old gods, if you believe that. That's a whole story for a whole different day.
To elaborate, to elaborate a little bit more on what he's saying here, I think the suggestion that the Shadowlands thematically was part of the issue, I think is it takes a perceived risk out of the universe. When you understand directly and go and witness with your own eyes what is going to occur when you die, it appears that the risk is gone. Like, let me ask you a question. If the universe is genuinely built on a cycle where souls were supposed to go to the Shadowlands and go into the Maw and be processed by the Arbiter or whatever, then if that isn't working anymore, if that wasn't functioning anymore, then what happens? Like, if you, and especially if you're alive, again, if you die in there, are you even gonna be considered part of the cycle? I think that the reason why people feel that the theme of the Shadowlands was the issue is because of the way that it kind of sheds a light on death. But I think that, unfortunately, I hate to say this, but I think the story that they were trying to tell with what's happening in the Shadowlands and why it's altered and how that might reflect on reality and how that could reflect on places like the Dream as well, even, or how they have similarities, I feel like that's kind of being overlooked. I hate to say that, but I feel like it's kind of being overlooked. I don't know if the lore community at large is seeing that, but I just wanted to talk about that at length because I feel like Shadowlands is something that is a very complex situation that deserves reflection relatively consistently, because if we don't want to repeat that fucking same situation, we have to reflect on it, we have to learn from it.
No, that's not why Shadowlands failed.
Well, you know what? Okay, well, sorry. I fucking tried. All right, sorry. Damn it, Accolonn. He said, nope, nope. Sorry about that.
It's because it dealt with the cosmological force of death poorly. A lot of the story was incredibly disjointed. Once we did get to what would have been the codifying story, a lot of that was just rushed through and sort of tried to get to the end.
Agreed. And it was all split up amongst covenants, and you had to play all four to get the full fucking picture. Come on. Stupid.
What that story would have been. And that's why it failed. Not because of some cosmological element that players just don't want to know. The story was simply just not connected enough to Azeroth. And since Azeroth is our home, and that is where players feel most at home, that was, I think, a huge oversight from Blizzard.
It almost feels like it's a completely different world.
Already know that that is not happening in the War Within. It's not happening in Midnight, and it's almost definitely not going to happen in The Last Titan. So I am not at all worried about this. But I do want to talk about the Titans after that massive tangent. But never mind. So
Tangents is what we do.
If you're watching this video, that is a very weird question to ask. I don't know why you're asking it, but I will tell you anyways in the shortest possible way.
True,
the
Jamil.
Titans are beings of order. They say this in the Chronicles. They come from order. However, their place, the Pantheon, is in reality. We don't know why that is. Me and Pyromonster speculated that perhaps their access to Zeroth Orders allowed them to build this platform that allowed it to escape the realms of order and get themselves into the realms of reality, which...
yes and no. That's not really what I believe. I more so believe, maybe that's what we talked about at the time, but I more so believe that reality is the realm of order. We are in the realm of order. Or at least what we perceive to be reality and what we are told is reality is in the realm of order. Now, should the Titans be exerting their will upon it to this degree? Probably not. Is it really supposed to be here? Should the effects of time and space and the bounds of those things be in effect? Probably. I think for the benefit of our world, that's a good thing, but it depends on how they've been implemented, right? If time and space have been built into this kind of repeating infinite cycle, which is probably what it is, let's be honest, it's probably just built us into an infinite cycle, and ours is a cycle of hatred, as Sylvanas talked about. So it's just constantly repeating itself. And we'll probably can never escape it unless it's dismantled. So that's more my belief, is that Azeroth, as I believe she's a being of light and probably not a being of order, she probably does not belong here. She is probably not supposed to be inside of a planet. And if she is, then the planet's probably not supposed to be this much influenced by the beings of order. And so I think the reason for which they're able to be here, why they can fly the Zeroth Ordis thing around that I think they have, and why they're able to do all of this, I think is because we're in the realm of order. And so beings, if I'm not mistaken, in most fantasy, they tend to be at their most powerful in their own realms. Are we beings of order? No. We are an aberration. We are something that is considered a corruption because we have caused change, and we're basically agents of chaos in my eyes. We're sometimes called movers of fate, breaker of chains. What is it? What else have we been called? Fucking other prophetic fucking names or whatever. So I don't see us as beings of order. However, we are at risk of being manipulated into being pawns of order. That's the danger for us. What is so important about us is that we as mortals have this capacity to make real change and really make stuff happen. So the risk is that if we are deceived and made to believe something that's not true, we can be manipulated into doing something that otherwise the Titans may not have the power to do themselves. That's the risk. That's why we have to walk with eyes open. And we have to be very careful about cosmic alignments and affiliations, because we have to make sure that we don't fall prey to any singular thing like the Titans or like the Void or like the Light, right? That's why it's all about balance. We need to understand how these things interact with one another. That way we can help bring the cosmos to a greater fruition, and we can fucking save Azeroth. I also don't think that saving Azeroth is gonna fucking destroy us. I don't really think that. It could, but I don't really think that personally. We'll see though. Anyway, back to Accolonn.
Which gives them pretty much a big leg up on the rest of the cosmological forces because, well, they have unfettered access to reality where all the others are sort of caught behind some kind of veil and they can't really make it in. Now, the Titans claim, according to the Chronicles, that their job is really nothing to be...
I could also be wrong about this, and I could really be fucking up. I doubt this, but it could be that Azeroth dreaming is what produces the pocket that is reality, and that reality is basically a shield against things on the outside. And so, perhaps in a way, it is generating its own shield, but I don't really think so. I think that there's more evidence to suggest that we're basically in a little clockwork universe designed by the Titans that is probably designed to never allow Azeroth to wake up. I think the Radiant Song is what we want. I think what we're led to believe to a degree is that the Titans would also want the Radiant Song, but I don't think that's the truth. I think that there's a genuine risk that they want the Void Song. Because I think that I don't think that they want it. I think that Norgannon is going to make it happen, having manipulated both Amenthul and Eonar to basically bring about a state of perfect order and stasis by the void consuming creation itself. And if that happens, then I think that the universe will suffer from heat death and nothing will ever fucking be able to happen again.
They just go around the world and they sort of order everything, and put everything in its place, and that's it, right? That's the end of the game. They even, go so far as to expend a military force in Sargeras and Agrimar, and this force goes around and kills the demons who want to kill planets. The good guys of World of Warcraft.
Even though we later learn, through a Doom Lord being interrogated by Canrathat Ebenlock, that the demons actually were enslaved by the Titans and were attuned to seek out those who use the power of arcane magics, and they were specifically attuned to hunt down and instantly punish those who delved into the delicious sorceries of sacrificial magic, the greatest affront to life. So that's kind of a big detail that they completely omitted from Chronicle, that you can learn from a demon from a late patch questline in Mists of Pandaria. So, pretty convenient that they left that part of their history out.
The problem, of course, with all of that is as soon as they reach Azeroth, the good guy act, becomes a little less good. Not gonna lie. Of course, not in the Chronicles. In the Chronicles, the Titans are doing all the good things, The Titans are going around and they're ordering the planet and they're creating life and they're creating constructs and the old gods curse
the editing.
The construct.
I love the zoom.
Make the construct into life, actual mortal beings, and the mortal beings don't want anything to do with the Titans.
This is good editing. I love it.
And the Titans, build these engines, and all of this is meant to keep Azeroth safe from the very real and very dangerous old god threat.
Did you see what that said? They lying, dude. I'm the good guy. Yeah, the fire in the head. I kind of believe it.
God threat.
Lessons to learn.
Except there's books in Dragonflight, the Odin Edicts, the Tyr Edicts, that show very clearly that the Titans kept a lot of secrets. And some of those secrets seem incredibly benign. It is not things that they necessarily have to lie about. It is not things that they have to keep from the mortals, and yet they still choose to keep it from the mortals. Like, for example, not even the location of Zereth Ordis, which would be one lie, but no, the very existence of Zereth Ordis is not to be known, because according to Odin, the mortals, our minds are small and puny, and we would not be able to understand just how
puny mortal minds could not conceive of the wonders the makers granted to the Titans and Zereth Ordis. Odin! He just bellows when he speaks. Oh, welcome to my halls. He's just like, shut the fuck up, Odin.
Magnificent the Titans are, if we were to learn about the Zereth Ordis realms, of course.
I mean, it makes pretty good sense to me that the Titans wouldn't want us to know about Zereth Ordis. If their reason that they gave to their dumb son Odin was that the mortals had puny minds and they couldn't understand it, if that's what they told them, then fine. But I think it makes sense that they wouldn't want us to know about Zereth Ordis. I don't think they'd want us to really know maybe about any of those realms. If they did, they certainly wouldn't want us to know early on. I think, you lay the trap, you lay the breadcrumbs. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. And then they walk into the fucking trap. So there's that as an option. But yeah, I don't agree with the idea that it's something that doesn't make sense for the Titans to withhold from us. That is one of the most directly makes sense for the Titans to hide from us kind of things, I think.
Also, a lot of lies if you look at the journal or the annotations journal of Deathwing.
Deathwing, yeah.
Nartharian,
yeah.
Nartharian shortly after succumbing to the void for the very first time, Neltharion starts to make annotations to a lot of the writings of the Keepers, where he almost mocks the Keepers for some of the claims that they make, and where Neltharion is just like, lol, you didn't do this. What are you even talking about? And a lot of this actually runs right into the face of what the Titans claim they had did. One of them being that the Titans created everything.
Yeah.
Neltharion openly mocks this, and he explains that there were so many things that were built long before the Titans even arrived on Azeroth. So many
halls of origination.
Things existed on Azeroth long before the Titans arrived.
On Courage. Maybe. Probably not. Maybe Uldir, but I'm not ready to say that yet. It's just very different from a lot of the other Titan stuff. But similar in some ways too. But still different. But same, but still different, but different. Whatever he says, fucking, what is it, James Franco from that movie? Was it The Interview? Same, but different. Anyway, don't watch a certain part. It may be a spoiler. Really? I gotta be careful. The same, but different. But still the same. Yeah, whatever he says, yeah. That shit cracks me up.
And this is backed up by Odin's edicts, where Odin himself gives the order that there shall be no more talk of this nonsense that things existed before the Titans arrived. And then he sort of justifies this by saying, could anything ever really exist without being ordered first? You know, so really a very big justification, but in their
that would be wild
view, that does make sense.
But thanks, Accolonn. Appreciate that. I'm just kidding.
More that's wrong with the Titans than just that. The Titans make no sense. Every single one of the Titans appear to be from different places. There are some that do seem to be from the realms of order, but there's specifically two that do not.
Argus could there still could be more layers. That's what's so fucked up about it. Anyway, sorry.
To be from the realms of order. The first is Aenar. Now, Aenar, everything about her screams life. No matter what you do.
Doesn't it? Doesn't it? So why is it all about Elune? Why? 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 Her eyes are bright white, just like Elune's when she talks through Tyrande to the Winter Queen. Oh my god! It's fucking Aenar! This is out of control, Chad. I'm sorry. I feel like this is insane. Some of the things that we've been talking about regarding, dude, I'm sorry. This is out of control. Cut all this out. You gotta cut all this out, Jay. I gotta save all this.
No matter how you cut it, why she is part of the realms of order makes no bloody sense. I get that people say, well, their job is to bring order to the realm. But if you look at the different cosmological forces, they exist specifically so that life can exist, so that, you know, the universe can exist. There is a cosmological force, life, that would create life. Aenar being in the realms of order, but being a titan of life, doesn't make a lot of sense.
The Anshe and Musha story, dude. Oh my god. It's out of control.
The other one is Aman'Thul. Now, it is important to recognize that while we don't exactly know what the attacks and the exact attack makeup of the Titans look like, we can look, for example, at Aman'Thul's children.
If the Titans swear fealty to life, it could come back to that Aenar shit, but Aenar might not be who I really think it is, and I could have the puppet master wrong. See, because I've been thinking it's Norganon, and it still could be, but Elune behind Aenar is interesting to think about, and the sword that Sargeras wields once again. But anyway, moving on.
Odin and Tyr. both Odin and Tyr have very specifically light-based attacks. Now, Odin is more like a warrior, but if you fight him, you go to his raid and you actually go fight Odin, a lot of his attacks are light-based. They have a light element to them. Tyr costs pretty much exclusively holy magic, which is part of light, right? It's the magic of light. Why would Aman'Thul have access to this magic? Why would Aman'Thul's children have access to this magic? They are of the realms of order. They should not have access to light. Light, again, is a cosmological force that exists specifically in order to ensure that life is possible. It should not be possible for beings of order to have access to this magic source. Now, in the past, I used to think, well, since light is just a magical source, anyone should be able to channel it. But the reason that is wrong is that's true for mortals, because mortals don't belong to a specific cosmological force, and therefore we seem to have the ability to call on any of the cosmological forces in order to make things happen. But if you are a being that was born and created within a specific realm, that realm contains its own power structures. In the case of order, arcane. Why then would you have access to any of the other cosmological forces and their powers? Because their powers is very much like yours. Is arcane? The light is light. Death has death magic and necromantic magics. The foul or the chaos? Yeah, that's foul magic right there. Each of these realms have its own powers that it uses, except Aman'Thul and Aenar appears to go wonky and just, use whatever power they want. This suggests to me the only possible solution is that Aman'Thul and Aenar, and perhaps not just them, aren't actually of order. Aman'Thul is of light, and Aenar is of life.
Aman'Thul is listed as a priest in Hearthstone. And he's shown using light and void magic, I'm pretty sure. And he wields a staff that's a lightning bolt that's 1/2 light and 1/2 dark. So, I can honestly kind of fuck with that. Split first ones again? Probably. Yeah, probably. I could fuck with Aman'Thul being a being of light, time and light, and I could fuck with that a little bit. Maybe time is more Norganon. Even. But Aman'Thul uses that in the fight. Maybe time and light are related, though. Norganon's the arcane mage of the group. Norganon can fucking cast anything. He knows every spell in the universe. That's what they say. Yeah, he's sus.
I have said before, and I've said it many a times, there appears to be some kind of a deal that was struck between order, death, light, life, and to a very lesser extent, the Twisting Nether. With
of how he had to use a dark green for Fel because he used light green for life and couldn't use it again. The light has struck a bargain with the enemy of all. And when I think about who Order fights, I feel like Order has influenced death, Order has influenced life, and Order has influenced Fel. I feel like Order here, but we're also missing Void. The light striking a bargain with the enemy of all. Could be death. Everyone seems to fucking hate death. The void, it fought death. The light came in and fought death. Could be death. The light striking a bargain with death. I mean, I could fuck with that because I think Order struck a bargain with life. I think that's exactly what the fuck happened. So yeah, the light probably did strike a bargain with the enemy of everybody, which is probably death. Because again, the void is fucking freaking out to Illyria about Sylvanas, saying she serves the true enemy and to kill her. So, I could fuck with that. And if because if Sargeras is light, which I think he is, and he's working with the powers of death, which I think he might be, at this point it kind of looks like it, then it kind of looks like maybe Sister Elune, via Eonar, working with Order, they've sworn a pact to protect life at all costs. And fucking Fel, I mean, Fel's there. Fel is fucking life fire fueled by death. It's chaos fire that brings change to things and consumes but then changes and shit like that. So, yeah, wherever that goes, either side could be using that. Honestly, that's what's so fucking crazy about it. I don't think Order is very likely to I don't know, they commanded demons before, but they don't like sacrificial magic, so I don't really think that they'll be using Fel too much. But it is interesting because, once again, there is that potential implication that Elune isn't so directly opposed to Fel as we might believe. Maybe there's something in there still where Elune is, you know, maybe willing to forgive her brother for what he's done, if they can come to an agreement, you know? But at this point, I'm worried that Order has kind of outplayed it, and Order and Life are going to be, they've kind of trumped everybody else. That's what I'm worried about. So I guess in this way, maybe the Primus. I don't know, dude. Let's just watch.
With the Void being held entirely out of the deal, the Void does not get to be part of this deal. Life, on the other hand,
except N'Zoth. F, dude. I love these little edits. They're so good.
The Twisting Nether. With the Void being held entirely out of the deal, the Void does not get to be part of.
Yo, how about this? If N'Zoth was working with Sargeras, just hear me out here. If the reason he has the fire and stuff, what if, unless it's an expression of Azeroth, which it still could be. I'm okay with that. If N'Zoth was working with Sargeras, though, that'd be kind of interesting. It'd make me wonder, is there an old god working with Elune? That'd be crazy. Could you imagine? Some Elune, that'd be cool. Like some kind of starry, cosmic, voidy old god. That'd be cool.
This deal. Life, on the other hand, I think has also been kept largely.
Or like a life old. Wait, is it Yasharaj? Is that what Yasharaj is supposed to be? The life serpent, the big serpent with life energy coming out of its head, that has the golden stag in the middle of its head, and which is connected with Dark Moon Fair, most certainly, and is now connected to Elune via Eluna here. Is that what Yasharaj is? The world serpent? Jormungandr? Jormungandr? However the fuck you say it. Huh. Food for thought.
Of the loop?
Dude, they've kept Yasharaj real hidden for a real long time, haven't they? They've done a real good job of it. But with time, they've just revealed more and more. And some believe that the Well of Eternity was where Elune slept during the day. But it's also alleged to be where Yasharaj was ripped out of the earth. And Yogg-Saron's very aligned with death, obviously, via Serenite. Makes me think Primus or Argus. And then there's Cthulhu. Bugman.
And only Eonar survived from that portion. Light has Amanthul. The other Titans may or may not be from Zeroth Orders.
Fractals, dude. It's like fractals, shades of color. Oh my god. This is crazy. This is wild.
Be from the realms of Order. And then on the side of Death, there's at least some speculations about the Primus. Very specifically, one thing that I will point to, when the Light attacked Revendreth, the Primus and the forces of the Necrolords did not come to the aid of Revendreth. Now, I know many of you will say, but hold on, Accolonn. Denathrius is the one that actually first broke the rules. He was the one that, sort of broke the truce first. It doesn't matter. The Necrolords, their job, their main function within the Shadowlands is to defend the Shadowlands against any and all enemies. And yet, when Ravendwraith is attacked, the Necrolords do not go to help.
I forgot about that cinematic. That shit is metal, dude. Oh my god. Have we seen any in-game depictions of Yasharaj? In-game, the only closest depictions we have are the Shah themselves and perhaps the Cloud Serpents.
In fact, they don't live...
Oh, and he's on the Dark Moon Fair. Well, you may or may not agree with this, but he's on the banner for the Dark Moon Fair. So, I guess if that counts as in-game. But it's not outwardly... No one, like, talks about that. That's, I mean... The 7 heads of Yasharaj, the many pieces of... Oh, what you're looking for is Lukao? The many pieces of Lukao? Of Klonsu? You mean Lukao? And if the old gods are potentially beings of life, then their potential... I mean, their further likeliness to be connected with at least one of them, a being like Elune, is, I feel like, a little heightened. Fuck, for all I know, the technological advancements of the Black Empire led to the fucking creation and splitting of these deities and caused this madness in the first place, dude. Who knows?
A finger. Even as Ravendwraith stands on the cusp of being completely and utterly destroyed, the Primus sends no help. The Shadowlands is under attack. Now, you could reprimand your brother, you could punish your brother, but if one of the realms of death is under attack, surely the force that is meant to control and safeguard the realms of death should come to its
It is your duty.
Then, of course, in the realms of death...
Unless the implication is that the Primus and Maldraxxus agreed, and that they... Again, because what is... I think it's... I can't remember the Naru's name. Zirali or something? The Naru that's there says death... We came here to make sure death knows its place. It's like, holy fuck. Jesus. Why is death such a little bitch? Like, what the fuck? Is death such a little bitch on a cosmic scale that, like, you just get to show up? Think about that. The fucking void just manifests in the realm of death. They're just like, yeah, you guys are bitch made. We can just show up whenever we want. It's like, what? What the fuck? The light just shows up, fucks shit up. Like, that's pretty wild. It just makes you think, like, damn, death is pretty low on the totem pole cosmically. Just makes you wonder, like, maybe that's why Anshe was maybe working with the power of death, or the forces of death. Maybe death needed a little support. I don't know.
We also see the Winter Queen, which also doesn't appear to fit.
How can the light even get there?
Very strange to me.
I don't know.
Then, of course, in the realms of death, we also see the Winter Queen, which also doesn't appear to fit in.
Yeah, it almost looks like Elune may have tried to arrange for her little sister to have a safe place to just live out her existence and not have to deal with any of this shit. But even then, it hasn't come to fruition. Even here, she's in her own realm. She faces plights like the Drust. It's very interesting to me, the whole dynamic of the Winter Queen and Elune. I think their relationship's pretty fascinating. And the fact that Bwonsamdi, I think, is very much insinuated to have once had a romantic relationship with fucking the Winter Queen and Bwonsamdi's Aloa, which is something that may also be very directly connected to Elune herself. I think that's pretty relevant. I think that's pretty important. Especially considering Bwonsamdi's a troll. Or at least looks like one. Have you noticed the symbol on the Hearthstone and how similar it is to the Emerald Dream and Ardenweald? Sure. Wait, what? Where did that happen? So if you do the Ardenweald, campaign, the reputation, storyline and everything, it's pretty much all about Bwonsamdi and the Winter Queen and Vol'jin. Bonsomdi is trying to repair his relationship with the Winter Queen, who is not very happy with him anymore. Because they were once upon a time, apparently, that wasn't so bad between them. And there is also a point at which Bonsomdi remarks that in his past, he used to have lots of romance in his past. Maybe not so much anymore, but believe it or not, back in his day, you know, he had romance. And it's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? And so again, you start to look at Bonsomdi. The other side connects to the fucking into Ardenweald. He's trying to get back on her good side, but she doesn't really want anything else to do with him. And basically the whole quest line is about him trying to like make it up to her so that he can get, I think, permission to like be in his little corner of Ardenweald via, I'm not sure if that's what he's after. He might be wanting to try to get reborn, because what you do in the quest line is you save Aloa. I think you save Ashamain, don't you? Yeah, you say like Ashamain from the Maw, who could actually also be a Dreadlord infiltrator, but I'm not going to get too much into that. The point, I don't think that's, I won't get too much into that, like I said. I think it seems like they're trying to paint an image that there was a relationship between the two of them.
Which is very strange to me. Because she seems to be very much connected again to the realms of life. This is weird. This is not how it should be.
It is weird. And you know, the Winter Queen seems very somber and sad all the time.
Strange to me. Because she seems to be very much connected again to the realms of...
It's almost like the Winter Queen is like a real sad fragment of Elune or something. It's said in two different stories about how the Blue Child came to be. And one of them says that the Earth Mother created the Blue Child, and the other one says that Elune created the Blue Child. In the Earth Mother, I have a really hard time separating from Eonar the Lifebinder for some reason. And now I'm kind of feeling like maybe Eonar the Lifebinder and Elune aren't that different of people after all. So perhaps both stories are true. That Elune did technically create her, and the Earth Mother is also Eonar, who is also Elune. But then that makes the question, who the fuck is Azeroth? Who the fuck is Azeroth then? That's where I get a little lost, so I'm not willing to go that far with it yet. So but it does make you wonder. Is it from the Earth Mother? And if that's true, is the Earth Mother Azeroth, or is it Eonar? And if it's Eonar, is it really Eonar, or is it whoever Eonar could be as Elune?
Of life.
But she's just so sad. She's just so sad all the time. It makes me think she's like a sad soul fragment. She's got the blue crystals on her and stuff. It's like Argus or something. You know how Argus is like in pain and tormented stuff? It's like a different type of pain and torment. Hers is like more internal. But it's like I don't know, like I think about like Mournblades and how they like suppress you and like make you feel terrible shit. And like, I don't know, it makes me just kind of think about like what those blue soul fragments really represent. Like what are they? Are they that darkness? Are they that sadness? Or is that just a color because death and blue and because domination? Or does it, I don't know, something I like to think about. Color is like a big thing in World of Warcraft.
This is weird. This is not how it should be. Why is the light and life specifically found in places that it does not belong in? Now, I'll have a much greater video about the Primus and exactly what I think the Primus is up to. That's not really within the scope of today's video. I'm going to give you another bit of evidence, another sort of speculation theory about why the Titans are incredibly sus and what I think the Titans may be up to, but I'm not going to go into too much detail about that because this video is already 13 minutes
Yeah, and we're almost 4 hours into my stream, and I'm supposed to do quest lines today, so I think after this we're going to have to jump in.
I don't believe the Titans created the Well of Eternity by accident.
Agreed. And there's even stuff in the game, and I believe if you look at the RPG lore as well, that suggests the same thing. That they crafted it. And that it was not this accidental thing.
Now, the way the story goes is that Yisaraj was the largest of all of the old gods. And that when the Titans arrived, they ripped Yisaraj out of the planet. And then that is what created the gaping wound that would ultimately become the Well of Eternity. The story further goes and explains how the old gods were all locked up where they stood because the Titans didn't want to risk it. I'll just pose this to you, and then you'll have to watch a future video.
Well, it's said in Chronicle that the Titans came to realize that due to the old gods having entwined themselves so deeply into Azeroth, that if they ripped them out, that they would do irreparable damage to the world and Azeroth itself, so that they don't do that anymore. That's why they said that. So they discovered that they could not be killed in this manner, and that is exactly what is said in Chronicle, in this manner. So then later on in the later Chronicle books, it's described that the mortals show up and they slay the old gods with with their mortal blades. It seems like the blades of mortals are like a necessity, perhaps, in the slaying of the old gods. So that's something to chew on.
Where I'll go into a lot more detail about this, but I'll pose the following to you. What if the Well of Eternity was meant to be a power source?
Yep.
What if it was done on purpose? Because
to give magic to the world. Yep. And to sow magic all across it. And to order the entire world. Yeah. It's a font of power that could be used to shape literally everything.
Everything the Titans do appear to be incredibly well thought through. They definitely do experiments. They try things.
They're run calculations.
Very intuitive.
They run simulations.
They're very inquisitive. When you look on Azeroth, you look at Uldir, for example, you look at Gohun, it's very clear that Titans do a lot of experiments, and they run a lot of experiments, and they try different things, and they're always trying to inquire about the universe. Now, of course, they do that through a very limited scope, but they still try to do it all the time. So
Myzoth can't die. He's immortal. Yep, when he's got his special Lois stick, he sure is.
Why then would they have this moment of weakness and just rip Yesaraj?
His Elune crescent moon shaped blade. Yeah. Yeah.
Out of the planet, nearly killing Azeroth, but then seemingly not. Lucky for us. And yet they create one of the most powerful fonts of magic that is known. In fact, the exact lore of the Well of Eternity suggests that the Well of Eternity, when it happened, it created a rift throughout all of the timelines. The Well of Eternity exists in every single one of the timelines everywhere because of that event. It was so powerful that it ripped into the timelines. Now, that maybe give us some insight into Azeroth and her power over the timelines. But I believe it was done with a very, very specific intent. I'll give you a small hint. Pyromancer made me aware of this because I completely forgot this. But in the Chronicles, the Titans write that when they arrived on Azeroth, Kalimdor, the Land of Eternal Stars, the original name for the super mega planet, continent, was one of the largest continents on Azeroth. It wasn't the only continent. It was the largest, but one of the largest. Not even the largest, just one.
I think it is the largest. I think it is. I think it does say the largest, but he might have the book in front of him. I'm not looking at it. Isn't the Zoth in a dagger? Pretty sure, yeah. He's in the Blade of the Black Empire. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Titans are hiding a lot. And I will be going through that in probably the next video or the video after that.
Good video.
For now,
very thought-provoking, obviously, for someone like me.
Whatever we think we know about the Titans, it just isn't true. Not even close. Anyway, so enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Remember, $1 a month keeps the channel free from sponsorships that want to sell you shit that you absolutely do not need. The links to Patreon in the description down below. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, be kind to each other, be good to each other, and I will see all of you in the next one. Peace.
Good video. I enjoyed it. I like listening to Accolonn talk about the lore. He has some of the same like lines of thought that I do, obviously, so it's fun. It's just nice to have someone that just is willing to question stuff. You know? He's like one of the only people that like really does. So it's nice to watch. I enjoy it.